The shotgun was distributed by ACTII and Hacker. It is a Sony PlayStation compatible light gun, which supports GunCon and normal gun mode. It is notable for being a very close copy of the original Namco G-Con 45. Its main attraction is its more realistic look and the richer feature set. Much like the Super Jolt gun, which I have covered in episode 129, and the Avenger Pro, which I have covered in episode 170, the gun was painted silver and the grip plates were accentuated. They were given a wood pattern surface and a bright brown color. Design-wise, the shotgun is remarkably close to the original GunCon. Holding comfort and side picture clarity are as spot on here as on the original. Additional features were put to unobtrusive locations. The status indicator LEDs, for example, were put at the left-hand side, where the original had fake screw heads. Those brightly illuminate red if lit and show which fire mode is active. The latter is selected by a button below the slide stop. This button looks very similar to the fake button the original had on its opposing side, and thus it fits the design perfectly. Normal, auto-reload, auto-fire and auto-reload plus auto-fire are the available choices. The auto-reload capacity is 5 shots. In my opinion, it is very convenient for time crisis-like games to decouple auto-fire from auto-reloading, and therefore I am glad the player is given the choice. Sadly, in all advanced fire modes and the combination thereof, the gun often struggles to register and react to off-screen shooting. Just in the normal fire mode, the gun reloads reliably when shooting off-screen, which is especially frustrating for the Konami gun mode. At the hammer is the on-off switch for the rumble-based force feedback. Considering it's based on a vibration motor, the force feedback is surprisingly fast and strong. This is the best implementation of a rumble force feedback I have ever encountered in a light gun so far. Part of the good performance might be due to the vast distance between grip and motor, which, because of the lever principle, enhances the force. There is no switch to select between GunCon and normal gun mode. Instead, the gun pays attention to whether or not the RCA socket is fed with a composite sync signal and goes into the corresponding mode accordingly. The magazine eject button is an independent part. Because it's not held by anything, it wobbles around freely. I was concerned that something might be off and opened the shell. Inside, I was able to see the remnants of an unidentified contraption close to this button. If I had to guess, I would say that the shotgun was about to be battery powered and was ought to house a removable battery magazine at some stage. The controller cable is split. The shorter end is terminated at a DC barrel socket. One would assume that this is meant to connect to an external wall wart to power the force feedback. The force feedback, however, is driven directly by the console. Puzzlingly, the pedal, which accompanies the controller, terminates in a DC barrel connector, and this is how the two mate. Frustratingly, this destroys the 100% compatibility which I proclaimed for my ultimate pedal, which I have built in episode 201. I don't think about changing that though, as the choice of a DC barrel socket is super stupid in my mind and would just be outrivaled by putting a US AC Power NEMA 1-15P cord to the gun. All buttons on the gun are rubber dome based. A and B are at the original locations. Sadly, I faced reliability issues when the buttons weren't pressed strong enough. There is no issue with the actuation of the membranes, and I assume that the conductive pad has degraded. This is nothing a drop of silver conductor paint couldn't remedy, but it slightly lessens the overall good impression of the shotgun. On first glance, the clicky push button switch based trigger feels great. Sadly, there is a recess between trigger guard and trigger piece that has sharp edges which bind on the finger and allow for skin to be trapped when moving the trigger back to the initial position. When playing for a prolonged time, I would have to tape this location or wear a glove or put a band-aid on my finger. The original GunCon had this recess too, but there it's a non-issue because the trigger isn't moving as far. To put insult to injury, my particular gun has trigger reliability issues. The switch just makes flaky contact, releases and closes somewhat randomly when advancing the travel. This sometimes causes double and triple shots when I firmly press the trigger. This can be fixed easily by changing out the switch for a new one, but suggests that longevity was not the major concern when this gun was initially designed. In both gun modes, there are narrow dead zones at the bottom and the left-hand side of the screen. Those are so slim, however, that they probably won't affect the player much, if at all. In GunCon mode, the precision is bad, especially along the x-axis. Almost unfittingly, the accuracy is very good. In normal gun mode, the precision is decent and accuracy remains very good. Whereas most third-party controllers map special shot to A and pause to B, sadly, the shotgun does it exactly the other way around. This challenges the usefulness of the pedal in normal gun mode, as it is hardwired to the A button. Personally, I like the shotgun. While playing, the bad precision wasn't as much of an issue as I feared it would be. My main annoyances are all quality related, and I am sure I could easily fix those issues. Visually, the controller looks adorable and I feel it performs superior to the Super Jolt gun. When it comes to GunCon clones, in my mind the shotgun doesn't take the crown from the Blaze Avenger Pro, but it's a competent light gun. The box looks appealing to me. The photo of the controller highlights the gorgeous wood pattern on the grip plates very well. Some aspects of the box are quite puzzling though. On the left-hand side, a faint picture of Regina from Capcom's Dino Crisis is visible, and laid over it, there is a similarly transparent logo of Namco's Time Crisis. The back of the box acts as manual and gives good insights to the feature set. This is the end of the review. My name is Ben. I thank you for viewing.